and welcome to the Zaxby's Heart of Dallas Bowl, part of Capital One Bowl Mania. The pomp, the pageantry that comes with honoring first responders, as this bowl does today, and that comes with having the United States Military Academy a part of the festivities. The flyover and the pregame action continues as we get ready to go. And hello from the Cotton Bowl. I'm Alan Bestwick with College Football Hall of Famer Coach Mike Bellotti. Both of these teams capping off huge turnaround seasons with their first appearance at a bowl game in a long time. We start with Army, Coach. They had the big win over Navy a couple of weeks ago, but none of these players on this team have ever been in a bowl before. Are they ready?
They're absolutely ready. They're very excited to be in a bowl game, the win over Navy, and certainly the opportunity for redemption against North Texas, who beat them earlier this year.
And for Army, of course, we get to see them execute what they're known for, the triple option attack.
Yeah, the flex bone, the triple option, all of the service academies run it. Army does it very, very well. Second in the nation rushing. Starts with the dive. They're going to give the ball to fullback inside. He's going to attack those inside gaps. And Davidson is he's their leading rusher. He does a great job of that. You better stop him. Otherwise, the quarterback will keep the ball. And the nice thing about this is Bradshaw does his best running inside. He's a very physical runner, but if you stop him, gets all the way out to the pitch. And this is when it gets to the A-back, who's the fastest player typically for Army and can do a lot of damage.
And so Army will begin to try and execute that offense momentarily. This is the rare rematch in a bowl of two teams that played in the regular season. North Texas beat Army rather handily up in West Point toward the end of October. But today it's not really the same North Texas team that played up in New York.
A little bit different this week. Alec Morris is the quarterback. He didn't play in that previous game. He has a strong arm, but he's got to find ways to distribute the football. The good thing is, though, they have Jeffrey Wilson back. He scored 3 touchdowns, had 160 yards rushing in that last game. He buoys that North Texas rushing attack.
There is Wilson, and look at all of his damage came in the second half of that October 22nd game up at West Point. So the final game for the seniors on both squads, and for more on seniors and leadership, we go to field level and Chris Budden.
Senior linebacker Andrew King earns a lot of praise for being what's called the wall, the linebacking unit for the Black Knights. But he earned maybe his highest compliment yesterday from his defensive coordinator. Jay Bateman told us yesterday that he's the best leader in all of college football. Told us a story of when he got off the bus yesterday at the hotel. He went back on to pick up all the trash afterwards. I asked him yesterday, where do you get this leadership style from? He said his parents told him to leave a place better than he found it. And he wasn't just talking about trash on a bus. He was talking about the Army football program. And he believes he's done that. This senior class leading them to beat the streak against Navy, and now their first bowl game since 2010. Alan?
All right, Chris, thanks. North Texas won the coin toss. They have elected to defer. So the Mean Green will kick away to the Black Knights, who will get first possession of the ball. The Zaxby's Heart of Dallas Bowl is underway from the goal line. Elijah St. Hilaire with a nice kick return out to about the 25 as we look at our Zaxby's impact players.
Well, for Army, when they've got the football, you got to look at Bradshaw and Davidson. They're the one that key the rushing attack. On the flip side, the safeties, Keyshawn McClain, James Gray, they are running the alleys. They have to have great eye discipline. They're going to stop the big plays from happening today for North Texas.
So a look at McClain as Ahmad Bradshaw leads the Black Knights offense out onto the field. He is the key to making it go, make the reads, make the decisions of which of the options to take. Andy Davidson is the fullback, another key for the Black Knights. Bradshaw with a good 6-yard gain on first down.
They love Bradshaw. He's healthy now. His ankle bothered him earlier. He's a tough inside runner, very tough mentally, but he has the need to succeed. He's a great leader. The thing he has to do today is make sure he eliminates turnovers.
Of course, in the game that they played up in West Point on October 22nd, Bradshaw had a number of hiccups in that game. They got into a spot where they were trying to play from behind and throw the ball, and that's not what they do best.
That is not their forte at all.
This is Davidson. Andy Davidson, the sophomore from Allentown, Pennsylvania. That's what they do best. Hand it to the fullback and let him barrel forward.
And that is their forte. This is what they want to base the offense on, the dive play, just the fullback straight ahead. And they've talked about the fact they need to do this more. They got away from it last game against North Texas, and this is what makes the offense go.
Davidson, the team leader in carries, rushing yards, rushing touchdowns. And so a fresh set of downs for the Black Knights at their own 39. pitch coming around from the far side. Kel Walker, one of the freshmen. And he's quickly snuck up on and knocked down by Keyshawn McLean, one of those key defensive cogs for North Texas.
Keyshawn McLean had 12 tackles in the last game against Army. He runs the alley very, very well. They are the key guys to stop this pitch play, and he's got the speed to go sideline to sideline.
So a look at McLean there. McLean and his counterpart at safety, James Gray, 21, had himself a huge game. Even though the stats weren't maybe as big, he played a vital role in setting up McLean for a lot of his stops.
Their coaches thought it was his best defensive game of the football season.
Bradshaw with the pitch this time. Jordan Asbury, the sophomore from Cincinnati, came with it, is just beyond the line to gain, and another first down for Army.
One of the other things, when you play Army, they run the ball and they run the clock. You get many fewer opportunities, so it starts to wear on you. As they take this drive down the field, you see time elapse off the clock. North Texas knows they're going to have fewer opportunities. They have to make the most of any opportunities they have to score.
Bradshaw with the pitch out to Tyler Campbell. A nice yardage down the sideline, got the penalty yardage back, and might even have gotten the Black Knights all the way back on schedule.
Here we see the same opportunity. Keyshawn McLean running the alley, but this time he doesn't make the tackle. They talked about the fact that they need to get him off schedule a little bit, try to block that backside safety, but he rarely misses tackles. He didn't miss any in that first game against Army. Big play for Army. It looks like he stepped out of bounds, though, just a little bit short.
So they mark him back at the 34-yard line. Davidson back in at fullback. When Army talks about being on schedule, if they get that 4 yards on first down, they're on schedule to convert the first down by their averages. There's Davidson with a plunge. It'll set up a third down and maybe a yard and a half or two for Army.
And I would assume right here they're in 4-down territory. They've got 2 downs to get that yard and a half or whatever. Don't be surprised to see the dive play a couple times with quarterback keep based on his read.
They know based on their yards per carry and what they do against certain situations that they can pick up a couple of yards in a couple of carries. Plus, they've got some struggles in the kicking game, too. Woolfolk has the first down and more. Down to the 5-yard line was Darnell Woolfolk.
This is what the dive can do to you. It's the fastest way to get north and south, as we talked about. Woolfolk looks like one of those backs, though, that wants to punish people. He's got an opportunity, breaks in the clear. Nice job of blocking in front. And then instead of just run straight ahead, he goes over to attack the potential tackling defender. I love backs like this.
He wasn't going to outrun him, so he might as well try and run him over, right? Army pushing for the goal line and into the end zone for the opening drive touchdown.
The Army coaches talked about the fact that this is the healthiest they've been. They thought their guys looked faster and they were going to block better up front. That's the example. That dive play carried all the way, drove it into the end zone for 5 or 6 yards out.
Well, Darnell Woolfolk did the big carry, the explosive play. Good that he got the ball and got into the end zone. Now the point after try here by Blake Wilson, the junior from Boca Raton, Florida, is no good and off the mark. So a long drive downfield, all of them on the ground. Gets Army 6 points. The point after try misses. 6-0 Black Knights. So many great games here over the years. While the Cotton Bowl Classic has moved across town to Arlington, still the site of the Red River rivalry between Oklahoma and Texas, and will continue to be so. And in the Cotton Bowl today, it's the Zaxby's Heart of Dallas Bowl with Army driving down the field 11 plays, 75 yards. They've used up almost 6 minutes of clock to get the 6 points on the board.
And did not throw the ball one time.
Yep. It's not their thing. So this is Mitchell Howard, the kick for Army. Short kick. Going to be fielded by James Gray, who cut back the other way. And Get tagged at about the 34-yard line, and good starting field position for the Mean Green offense. A look at our impact players presented by Zaxby's when the Mean Green have the ball.
It starts with quarterback Alec Morris. He's got a strong arm, but he needs to distribute the ball and feel comfortable with this offense. Hasn't played a lot, did not play last game against them. Jeffrey Wilson, though, is back. The leading rusher exploded for 160 yards. The defense goes to Timpf and King, the linebackers who are in charge of stopping the North Texas running game.
So from the 34-yard line, Wilson, the senior graduate transfer from Alabama, spent 4 years at Bama, barely played, has come here this year, started the opener, then got replaced by freshman Mason Fine for a lot of the season. Fine got hurt. Morris is in to try and win the bowl game, and his first pass is a strike on the outside to Turner Smiley, one of the step-up receivers for North Texas after a couple of their leading receivers were dismissed from the team.
And this is more what Morris is used to. Play action, use the arm strength to hit a wide open receiver. He's not as comfortable spreading him out and doing the drop back stuff. He'd much rather throw off play action.
Army is 4th in the nation in total defense. And North Texas not hearing any of it today. Jeffrey Wilson with a nice gain on first down for the Mean Green, the junior running back out of Elkhart, Texas.
They want to feature the outside zone today. They feel like that gives them the opportunity to create some gaps, and for Jeffrey Wilson to use his athleticism to exploit any weaknesses in the Army front seven.
Wilson put up 160 yards in the October 22nd game up at Army, almost all of it in the second half, and did a lot of it by getting the edge. He gets stacked up on that one for a very short gain. Jeremy Timpf, one of those key inside linebackers, with the first hit for Army.
The linebackers are the heart and soul of that Army defense, but we talked to Graham Harrell, the offensive coordinator for North Texas. He talked about the fact that they need to be patient today and run the football. Even though they're going to have fewer possessions, running the ball is going to be the key to their offensive success.
There's a look at Harrell, former quarterback, record-setting quarterback under Mike Leach at Texas Tech. Seth Luttrell also spending time at Texas Tech. This is a version of the air raid modified to the personnel that the Mean Green have on the team when this coaching staff came in. Wilson will get the first down.
What they like by the outside zone is it causes movement up front, and as they run farther, they feel like their athleticism can beat the discipline of the Army front seven.
So first down at the Army 30-yard line for North Texas. Wilson's been banged up some. Status of his health coming into this game somewhat uncertain, but coaches told us he was as good to go as he was going to get, and he's looked pretty good so far. Morris throws complete to the outside. That's going to be O'Kieran Rutherford with his first grab of the game and just his 6th of the season, the sophomore from Carthage, Texas.
They lost a couple receivers, so they've got a lot of guys that don't have a lot of experience in the system but are getting better. The bowl practices really help North Texas in terms of developing their identity.
Ball down to the 22-yard line. People talk about the value to a bowl of the team. Well, besides the fact that these kids want to play one more time, those extra practices that you get, so important to a young team trying to be developed like this. It's like having a second spring camp.
Exactly, spring camp or another fall camp. And sometimes the one thing they talked about, they've got to keep it very fun, though, for the players. And fun is when you get a chance to score a touchdown like that.
And not be touched on your way to the end zone. Jeffrey Wilson puts it to the house for North Texas.
Exactly, the coaches talked about if they get the Army defense running laterally, they feel they can create some seams, and that a guy like Wilson can take advantage of them.
So where Army plodded down the field to handoff, grinding out the game, North Texas just streaked down the gridiron. And now on to try the point after is Trevor Moore, their excellent junior kicker, who has just made his 96th consecutive point after try to give North Texas a 1-point lead. Jeffrey Wilson start on that drive. Appropriate that he carried the ball into the end zone. Jeffrey Wilson's 14th rushing touchdown of the season behind an offensive line that was shuffled around for today by North Texas. So whereas Army took 11 plays to drive the 75 yards in 5 minutes and 42 seconds to get their touchdown, North Texas went down the field 66 yards in 2.5 minutes with 6 plays. And right now the missed point after try, the difference in the ball game. Oof. Big hit in the hole. Bradshaw hands off to Andy Davidson. And not much doing, maybe 2 on Army's first carry of this second possession of the game. So how do teams adjust? North Texas on the defensive side, their defensive coordinator, Mike Eckler, was telling us about some things we might look for them to do to try and deal with this Army option.
Well, they play either a 5-2 or a 6-1, and they basically cancel all of the inside gaps, try to allow the safeties and the linebackers to run free to scrape for the quarterback and or the pitchback.
They've also shuffled some big people from up front spots to a little farther back spots. Talk about that in a minute. Nice pursuit upfield by Keyshawn McLean, 23, to make the stop. And it quickly sets up 3rd down for Army. It'll be 3rd and about 4, which they consider very manageable distance.
Absolutely. You talked about analytics earlier, where they know based on where they are on the field whether it's going to be 4-down territory. And they base that on not just what their team can do, what the other team can do. And it's a lot of things that factor into it. But they have hired an outside firm that tells them when they should go for it on 4th down.
North Texas folks driven down from Denton, making a little noise on the 3rd down and 4 for Army. Bradshaw will pitch. This is Tyler Campbell, who's got the seam and more. Foot race to the goal line. Touchdown, Army.
Who needs 4 downs?
Tyler Campbell, the sophomore from Sewanee, Georgia, goes all the way to the house to give the Black Knights back the lead.
Very well executed. See the dive, the fake keep, and then the pitch outside. And all of the North Texas defenders got caught inside. Nobody on the outside. Get a key block from the wide receiver, and then off to the races. Nice execution. Very quick score. Not unusual for an Army team.
Campbell's prior long rush this season was 29 yards. That one was 70. And now, having missed the point after try earlier, the Army offense is on the field here, and they will go for 2. So far on this season, Army has gone for 2 on 6 different occasions. They made 3 of them, all 3 by rush. The 2 times they passed, they missed.
Yeah, when you lead the nation in rushing, 3 yards is an easy accomplishment.
North Texas defending 2-point conversions, has defended them successfully 2 out of 3 times. End around, sniffed out, nothing doing. D. Bachman was right there for the Mean Green.
Great discipline by the nickelback. This is opportunity, and Army trying to sneak one in, going away from the motion. This is a reverse. You see the wing back coming back right there. Great discipline by Bachman. Just he stayed there, stayed home, and made the play.
So Mitchell Howard on to kick. Last time his kick was somewhat short. North Texas got good field position to start their opening possession. This one a little deeper. It'll be Tyler Wilson from the 2. He's got some room, just caught by the shoe tops and dropped at the 24-yard line by Ryan Parker for the Black Knights. You had that look on your face like, okay, there's something familiar about this to me.
About that, yeah.
So Alec Morris hands off to Jeffrey Wilson, and he'll get stacked up and dropped for a loss. Alex Ackerman got in there, 21 for the Black Knights.
Ackerman is the hybrid defensive end linebacker that leads a team in sacks and tackles for loss. He's an amazing guy, but he just defeated the block initially right there and stood his ground.
Probably going to want that fitting properly.
Going to need that, yeah.
Sam Rice, the center for North Texas. Morris to throw, going to go downfield. Incomplete. Tried to get it to Tyler Wilson, but right there was Jalen McClinton, one of the 2 true freshman cornerbacks for this Army defense.
And McClinton did a great job of walling off the receiver. He has a right to run down the field too, and kept the potential receiver away from the football. That's a great job by the corner, because just use your body to shield.
Ryan England there, the junior safety, having a little conversation with Wilson back up the field.
saying, way to go, young man. Nice job. Keep it up.
You think?
Yeah.
3rd and long. North Texas only 34% converting 3rd downs this year. Morris with the shovel pass. Wilson will get stacked up and dropped shy of the line to gain. Brought down at the 29-yard line. James Nautigal with first contact for the Black Knights.
Army actually showing blitz, and the call of the shovel pass would have been great against blitz, but they dropped into a 8-man deep 8-man drop, and so they're in better position to play this play. See the pursuit, had a long way to go, and good job of tackling and following. That's what you do. Show pressure, drop out, play zone.
Eric Kina, the excellent punter for North Texas, is on to kick. Army has come very close to blocking some North Texas kicks in the game they played earlier this year. Big bounce, fielded in a crowd, and a flag comes in. So Army starts here at the 33-yard line, and Bradshaw will throw to a wide open receiver. It's Campbell out of the backfield. Finally stacked up inside the 30-yard line. The first pass play of the day for the Black Knights goes for a bunch.
Campbell, probably the most agile and the best receiver that they have. We talked about the eye discipline necessary in the secondary. When you run, you see them running to attack that play that they thought was going to be a run to the outside. Somebody lost their assignment inside, lost their eye discipline. Big plays result.
42-yard gain. So Tyler Campbell has been Mr. Big Play today so far for Army. And the ball down at the 29-yard line, 1st and 10. Davidson will get about 3 on 1st down.
And since Army's defense stopped North Texas, we'll see if North Texas can follow suit, because they need a stop here. Army can run a lot of clock and run the ball at the same time. They're already up by a score.
Well, that's the whole thing. The way that this option offense runs, the quick strike scores not Army's thing, and you don't get as many possessions in a normal football game on offense when you're playing Army as you normally would. Bradshaw with the pitch. John Traynor gets a touch, and he'll get a nice chunk and set up a 3rd down and short for Army. Knocked out of bounds at about the 22.
Last time these two teams played, the secondary for North Texas did a great job. We talked about the safeties, McLean and Gray. Never got fooled. They played a little bit more patiently. Sometimes when you see the run develop, you want to attack it, you forget your eye discipline. The wingback runs right by you, and all of a sudden, he's down the field with nobody to cover.
Darnell Woolfolk comes in as the fullback here. Kel Walker, 32, is the wingback, and it's 3rd down. Make it 3. Woolfolk pushing forward. Still rumbling around, and they're going to have the line to gain, and Army will keep the drive going with another 1st down.
I'm going to say this one more time. You must stop the dive. They're going to run the dive until you stop it. And for anything 3 yards or less, it's almost an automatic.
We had Air Force earlier this year. Talked about stopping the dive. It's just everything when it comes to defending this option.
Well, you try to change up the look a little bit. They're playing either, as I talked about, a 5-2 or a 6-1. And basically, they're going inside, charging down to stop the dive play.
Bradshaw with the keeper and the follow. He'll get down to the 15-yard line. 4-yard gain on 1st down for Army.
You talk about all the various trickeration stuff off of the triple option. Here's the follow, as you talked about, where the fullback, who was the dive fake, actually becomes a blocker for the quarterback. And so it's just a power run play. It's like quarterback power in a sense. And they can do so many things. They can do that either way, dive either way, pitch either way, keep either way. Just, you have to be disciplined on defense.
Already inside the final minute of this 1st quarter. Woolfolk again, pushing forward down to the 10-yard line. Just shy of the line to gain, but a 3rd down and about a half a foot for Army.
And they're getting great push right now. The coaches of Army talked about the fact that they feel like they're the healthiest they've been, and they expected a better performance from their offensive line.
So with Army driving, the first quarter will come to an end. Army with a long, grinded-out scoring drive on the opening possession. North Texas with a quick strike to answer. Then Army with its own quick strike, and they're driving again. It's the Black Knights 12, the Mean Green 7 at the end of the first quarter here in the Cotton Bowl in the Zaxby's Heart of Dallas Bowl. After pulling the all-nighter a couple of days ago, good to see Santa here enjoying some college football on a beautiful Dallas December afternoon.
He worked pretty hard. He deserves a couple days off.
I think so. 12-7. Army with the lead and with the ball. Third down and very short at the North Texas 10-yard line. Hand it off inside to Woolfolk, and he will have the first down yardage, and the Army drive continues. So the 8th play of the drive coming up. They've covered 59 yards so far. They got 9 more to get the ball into the end zone.
North Texas trying to do some substitution here to try to stem this Army running attack. You know, they did reconfigure that defense, and we can talk about it a little bit later when we see it, just to get more bulk at the line of scrimmage. But right now, they're not being any more effective.
Army being perhaps the healthiest they've been in a long time, certainly according to Jeff Monk, and healthier than they were than the first time they played North Texas. Healthier up front on the offensive line, that is. Davidson lunging forward. Got a guy hanging around his ankles, trying to keep him from getting into the end zone. It was E.J. Agia, who made the stop.
You're right. They had a couple weeks off before the Navy game. They've only practiced about 5 or 6 times, maybe 7 times total after finals and everything else. So they're relatively fresh. So Army, not only did they look faster, but they're playing better at the line of scrimmage.
So Woolfolk, who scored the touchdown earlier for Army, back into the game at fullback here as they go 2nd and goal from the 2. Bradshaw will try to follow. He'll get stacked up at about the 1-yard line. Something didn't look right on that whole thing.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he was planning on going back that way or something changed his read inside. Let's take a look and see if we can see anything. I think it got penetration right in his face, and he decided he wasn't going to pitch it because that was, I think, going to be the dive pitch combination going left.
56, Malik DeLonga got in there and disrupted the whole thing.
And that's what North Texas did a great job in the first game of canceling the dive and jumping gaps inside to change up the quarterback's read.
Woolfolk into the end zone. Touchdown, Army.
I don't know that that was a read or just a design dive. It looked like everybody came forward, and it was the wedge, the flying wedge.
So the 2nd rushing touchdown of the day for the sophomore from Endwell, New York. And it looks like the offense has stayed on the field to again go for 2. Remember, they missed a kick on the opening touchdown, the point after try. They tried for the 2-pointer after the 2nd touchdown. It was no good. Here they'll try it again. Bradshaw squirts inside. Ball's on the ground. And so the point after try is no good. Well, that's 1, 2, 3 point after tries that the Black Knights have not converted. Will that come back to bite them later in the game? The Darnell Woolfolk touchdown caps a 10-play Black Knight march and makes the troops happy. Welcome back to the Zaxby's Heart of Dallas Bowl, part of Capital One Bowl Mania on a spectacularly beautiful December 27th here in DFW. It could be cold. It has been cold. It has been raining at this game at times in the past, but today just gorgeous. High temperature supposed to be 70 degrees. And right now the folks wearing the Army black and gold enjoying this one a little more than those wearing the mean green. Tyler Wilson. He gets stopped at about the 27-yard line. There's Jeffrey Wilson. He'll get dropped at about the 45-yard line by Jeremy Timpf. Those 2 inside linebackers for Army, the keys to their defense, Timpf and Andrew King.
Well, those guys have made 300 and 250 tackles in their career. They're no stranger to it. But watch out for Wilson. He's very streaky. When he gets hot, they talk about they just want to feed him because he gets going. He's just got that feel to it. When the game starts being slower for him, he takes off.
Remember, in the first matchup of the year between these two up in West Point, Wilson did all of his damage in the second half. Plenty of time to throw, and a strike over the middle caught by Thaddeus Thompson with his first touch of the day. The senior averaging 43 yards a game, leading the team in that, and he's got his first touch of the day.
I like what Alec Morris is doing right now. He's very comfortable. They talked about how well he practiced during bowl practices.
Dump it out to Wilson, but a little too tall as pressure was coming, and it's fourth down.
I was just going to say how impressed I was with Alec Morris on this day, because he's been very comfortable in the pocket, thrown every ball perfectly. This one, though, which requires a little bit of touch, he got a little bit afraid, had to throw it over the top of the oncoming rusher, and that's a difficult throw, especially with that close a defender down the field.
So the punt team comes on for North Texas. Eric Kina, one of their team captains, first team All-Conference USA. Standing at his own 32-yard line, Malik McHugh is standing at his own 10 for Army. Catch made at about the 7, and that is where the Black Knights will take over, leading by 18-7 over North Texas, an 11-point gap. So Army's had the ball 3 times. They've scored 3 times. They've put up a total of 185 yards rushing, 223 total offense. For the Black Knights, Tyler Campbell has been the big night guy.
The other thing is you see just the rumbling, stumbling of Darnell Woolfolk. I mean, he just going, but I don't know if they trap this. Sometimes they'll cross block it, sometimes it's just a straight dive. Let's see. Now, this is just a straight dive play. They just missed the tackle inside. He does a good job of keeping his feet moving, keeping his pads in front of his body.
61 yards on the ground for the fullback so far for Woolfolk in this game. This is Asbury. He'll have a nice first down gain for the Black Knights before he's knocked down by James Gray and Keyshawn McLean, those 2 key safeties for North Texas.
North Texas has the team speed to handle the outside plays if they don't get blocked. What they have to do is create the toughness inside to stop the dive.
Dive coming again, and Woolfolk runs over one of the safeties and gets all the way out to the 45-yard line. He just ran over James Gray to get another 4 yards on that carry.
Those guys are between 220 and 230 pounds. When they get a straight shot, they just keep going and not untouched until 7 or 8 yards down the field. That's a lot of momentum. I wouldn't want to get in front of that moving train.
I'm shuddering just looking at that replay. Are you kidding? So out to the 45-yard line.
And, you know, by moving people around in that defensive front, even though they've practiced it, they're still not doing the same things that they did last game.
Kel Walker with a big game play again for Army. Caught from behind and dropped, but not until he's deep into North Texas territory.
This is just a great move and a missed tackle. As we come and see this, it starts with the dive and they counter it. They come back the other way. And then right there, we should have had an open field tackle, but just not under control from a defensive standpoint, and a great job of cutting back against the grain.
Brandon Garner finally caught up to him and knocked him down, then subbed himself out of the game. Ball at the 29-yard line, and explosive plays. Those 20-plus yard gains have been numerous for Army today. Andy Davidson with a big gain, 9 on first down. Bradshaw hands off to Woolfolk. And the fullback dive continues to be the money play for the Black Knights.
And they're collapsing that side down. Sometimes that dive hits right between the center and guard. They're now blocking down with the guard and bouncing it out one hole. So the dive can take on many forms, but you've got to stop it by canceling all of the inside gaps.
Army knows they're not going to have the biggest, fastest, necessarily most athletic people in college football, or necessarily even with any team that they match up with. But they know if they're a physical group and they execute what they do, that they can play with just about anybody. It's Asbury who gets tripped up, or he might have scooted into the end zone. Taylor Robinson, 24 for North Texas, with a potential touchdown-saving stop.
And just when you start hunkering down inside, they throw the ball on the quick pitch outside. One of the things that Army prides themselves on is the degree of physicality with which they practice. They believe they practice in a tougher manner, more tackling, more contact on a daily basis than most other teams in the nation.
Jeff Monkman says it is a great part of the reason why we've had as much success as we've had in the fourth quarter this year. Talk about that in a minute. First, we're going to talk about a touchdown. The fullback dive, and Andy Davidson is in for Army.
Right now, this game is about, it's the chess match of how you stop the dive. It's also pad level. We're going to see just Army, just the push. Watch that right side of the line. You see, look at the North Texas guys just being pushed back 3 to 5 yards. Nobody's even getting a chance to lay a hand on the back.
So Blake Wilson is on for the point after try kick. They'll throw the fake instead. They had Samuel Johnson up to throw the ball, 47, but it was sniffed out and snuffed by North Texas. So what's that, 3 two-point tries in a row now, plus the kick try that missed earlier. Army has not been stopped on an offensive drive, but they have yet to convert a point after try in this game.
They're 0 for life today on conversions. Huh?
Mitchell Howard kicks. Tyler Wilson grabs it at the 2. Trying to get the edge, nicely pursued laterally by Army. As remember that Army has 2 true freshman cornerbacks. Got some room. And a touchdown saving tackle made on the near side by Ryan England. Or Wilson might still be running down the near side.
Remember, this is 3rd and 3. This is a power play. They pull the offside guard or tackle. Got the lead back, the fullback, number 44, Maki. And you're right, saving tackle because he was gone to the races.
By the way, I mentioned that Xavier Moss is back in the game for Army, playing safety position. Wilson has been the most effective weapon for the Mean Green offense. He'll affect about a 4-yard gain there.
I think you strive for balance, but we talked earlier in the game about the fact that North Texas coaches, Graham Harrell especially, said they've got to run the ball. They have to be patient. They ran the ball, and it broke some things for them on the first couple drives. They've thrown the ball a little bit more lately without that much success. Continue to run the football, trusting your guys up front.
There is Graham Harrell, 31-year-old offensive coordinator for the Mean Green.
And it's probably hard for him because his background is throw the ball, and throw the ball some more.
Yeah, when we talked to him yesterday, he said that he would like to be as true to the Mike Leach air raid system as possible, but they've adapted it and understand that with the personnel that were here when they got here, they had to run it a little more. Here's a nice catch and run by Rico Bussey, who's all the way down to the Army 27-yard line.
Bussey's a guy they love. He's a true freshman. They think he's going to be really, really good. Here's just the underneath drag route. Perfect timing on the throw, and then he's got the speed to turn this thing on, get it going.
30 yards on the catch and run for Bussey. Really big here for North Texas to get the ball into the end zone before the second quarter runs out. Grind it inside to Cannon Mackey, the fullback. Graham Harrell, at one point, I believe, held up to 8 records quarterbacking in the NCAA record book. Still holds 3 of them, and it's been a little while since he's played.
He's one of the best to come out of that Texas Tech program, and they've had many. Seemed like every year they'd had another quarterback that was just breaking the records the previous guy had set.
Wilson dumps it off inside. Morris to Wilson, rather. And he's trying to get the edge, and he will. Touchdown, North Texas. And a flag after the play. This time, Army is going to get called for some extracurriculars at the end of that one.
I'll tell you what, this is great execution. They set this screen up so very well, and then Wilson just has a knack for setting up and reading blocks.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct foul, number 7 on the defense. That penalty will be enforced 15 yards on the kickoff. We'll have 1 untimed down.
That is was Jalen McClinton who got tagged for Army.
Watch how this play develops. Great timing. You got the two blockers out in front of the screen. Great blocking down the field, and he just splits them. And then look at that. I'm telling you, all the way down the field, every block was significant and key to get in the end zone.
Trevor Moore's 97th consecutive point after made. And the Mean Green get it back to within 10 with the 2.5 minutes to go in this first half.
And let's see if North Texas pooches this kickoff, because they're kicking from the 50. He can probably easily kick it out of the end zone. They may try to pooch it into the corner and tackle him down inside the 10-yard line. A choice of strategy here. Kick it through the uprights.
That was Eric Kina, the punter, who kicked that one off. Army with 316 yards of total offense, 278 of it on the ground in this first half. Nice penetration and a nice stop there in the backfield. Nothing doing for Kel Walker.
Great job from the standpoint of discipline and pursuit. Your gap integrity, you can see them fighting down the line and defeating blocks and having the extra half a man at the point of attack.
So North Texas calls timeout. See if they can get possession back before this first half runs out. Trailing by 10. Army has converted on all 6 of its third down tries today, but none of them have been this long.
Well, 3rd and 12 is not the animal for the dime usually.
Pitch it to Kel Walker. Tries to get the edge, pursued from behind and taken down. That was Jared Combs, one of the defensive ends who's moved back to that jack linebacker position today. So North Texas did use the 3rd and final timeout here. J.D. Moat kicks it away for Army. Fair catch signaled and made, interestingly, at the 32-yard line by Turner Smiley.
In this situation, get a first down, get out of bounds, or get a touchdown. Can't take a sack, so you got to throw the ball away.
Shovel pass inside to Wilson. They get stopped after about a 4-yard gain. Clock running at 1:40 to go.
And they'll be in their up-tempo warp speed now to battle the clock.
Complete. With more for Tyler Wilson. He's across midfield and down to the 41-yard line.
Another true freshman. They like his athleticism. They really think he's going to be very, very good. Just young. Just needs a little bit more experience.
Eating up a lot of field without using a lot of clock. Morris will pull it down and head for the sideline. Gets a block on the edge and gets the first down.
Look at the big fella getting down the field.
I'm telling you.
That's not good job that they block for him, but great job of getting down the field and out of bounds.
Watch Jeffrey Wilson. 26. Locks up.
Yeah, great
Makes
job
that spot. So ball at the 26-yard line. 1:04 to go. First down.
Pressure coming.
Loose ball. And Morris manages to fall on it.
One of the things, if you're not used to playing in the shotgun, you've got to watch the ball all the way into your hands. Quarterbacks want to sneak their eyes downfield. The key, the coverage or blitz or whatever. You've got to secure the snap first.
So big loss. Ball back to the 39-yard line. Morris throws near side. This is Rutherford. He'll get back inside the 30. But not even back to the original line of scrimmage yet. 30 seconds to go.
That was a mistake. He should have gotten out of bounds there to try to stop the clock regardless of the yardage.
Jeffrey Wilson appears to be having some physical difficulty on this drive, though he stays in the game. Morris throws. They fight for it in the end zone. Flag comes in, and it's caught. Rico Bussey and a North Texas touchdown.
A lot of hand fighting between both the receiver and the DB. Let's see whose the penalty is going to be on. Great catch under pressure.
Pass interference. Defense, number 29. A penalty is declined. Result of the play is a touchdown.
That's Mike Reynolds for Army, and so North Texas a point after try away from making it a 3-point game.
Great job by Morris in the pocket that time.
Here's Trevor Moore. What a rally by the Mean Green. Army raced out to a 24-7 lead, but it's 24-21. Army over North Texas as we get to halftime and we get to the studio with Danny Cannell. Here's Adnan Burke.
Coach, North Texas been able to score on their last 2 drives. What have they done to move the ball against you?
You saw it. They just ran the ball very effectively, threw the screen pass and blocked us, and can't give them hope like that, but we sure did.
Your offense has been able to move the ball so well. What have you done differently than the last time you saw these guys?
We're just blocking them better.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
And we welcome you back to the Zaxby's Heart of Dallas Bowl, part of Capital One Bowl Mania. Teams on the field ready for the second half in a 3-point ball game. One that North Texas trailed by 17 at one point. It's Army 24, North Texas 21 as we get ready for the start of the second half. Alan Destwick with College Football Hall of Famer Coach Mike Bellotti. What was the difference between that first quarter and a half dominated by Army and that last half a quarter dominated by North Texas?
Well, North Texas definitely has a quick strike offense. They scored a couple times early, and I'm not sure they were able to match the physicality of Army at the line of scrimmage. But also, Army struggles to match the athleticism of North Texas in space.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see as we look at some of the statistics from the first half. They're really fairly even, except for the rushing. In the rushing and the passing yards kind of trade off. They're really fairly even.
They are, and both teams, I think, have big plays. North Texas has 5 plays at 20 yards or more. Army has 4, so they both have shown the explosive potential offensively. I think it's going to come down to maybe extra points or the lack thereof for Army.
Yeah, Army missed all 4 extra point attempts in the first half. So North Texas will get the ball to start this second half. Jeffrey Wilson certainly been a big factor in this game, though he appeared near the end of that last scoring drive to vomit on the field. Never took himself out of the game, just kept going. And we'll see how effective he is in this second half.
He might have felt better after vomiting. You know, sometimes they're keyed up with nerves or something they ate, you know, or too much or something. But he's playing a whale of a game so far, and they need him.
Here's Tyler Wilson from the 2 for the Mean Green. Just had a gap closed up before he get there, but a nice return out to the 30-yard line, and that's where the North Texas offense will take over. Down to the field, and Chris Budden.
Discipline on both sides of the ball. That was Seth Luttrell's message at halftime. He said, we're going to make some adjustments to try and stop that fullback dive. He said, we're doing good along the perimeter, but in his words, quote, we got to tattoo that guy. He said, on offense, I like the way we're moving the ball. We have to quit the negative yardage plays. He says, we're not good enough to overcome that. If we can stay in front of the chains, I like our chances.
All right, Chris, thanks. So they get the first chance here in this third quarter. Alec Morris, the Mean Green quarterback, the graduate transfer from Alabama, 12 of 16, 176 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, throwing the ball in the first half. They'll hand it off. And a short gain and roughed up a little bit.
Army doing a better job against the outside zone. The outside zone is the play designed to go to the outside, stretch the defense, and create some seams for Wilson to navigate through. There are no seams right now. Army's jumping that quickly, bouncing it inside, and then getting great pursuit from their offside guys.
Wilson out of the game. Andrew Tucker in. Redshirt junior from Tyler, Texas. Also got a fullback in there, 44, Cannon Mackey. Turner Smiley. The man lined up head-to-head from him started cheating to the inside to bring pressure, and they saw it, and they hit the open man.
They've had success with that play. One of the things that the Army coaches talked about is their players are so smart. By the second half, they know the play. So the outside zone, they understand what's happening. They know how to defend it and how to defeat it. He talked about by the fourth. That's why they win the fourth quarter all the time, because these players for Army are so smart, so intelligent. They process stuff during the course of the game.
Now Anthony Weiss, 4 into the game at running back, along with Andrew Tucker. Morris hands it. And Weiss, with his first touch, was looking for a face mask call, I believe, but I don't see any penalty flags on the field. Looks like a little work being done around Jeffrey Wilson on the far sideline.
Well, you talked about him vomiting. He is getting an IV. He may get dehydrated. That's a real problem when you do throw up during the course of the game, especially if he's been sick any time previous to the game.
But back it up and then throw it. Intercepted. Morris hit as he threw. Ball intercepted. And Morris just getting up off the turf. The first turnover of the ball game goes in the favor of the Black Knights.
Pressure right in his face. You can see he's going to get drilled as he throws this football. But unfortunately, he would have loved to have had it back. First turnover of the game.
Elijah Riley gets the pick for Army. Here's the turnover. Morris under pressure. And Riley there to get the ball back for the Black Knights. What a beautiful day here at Cotton Bowl Stadium. And Army just intercepting, creating the first turnover of the game. And they protect a slim 3-point lead over North Texas early on in this third quarter. Ahmad Bradshaw, the Black Knights quarterback, leads the triple option attack from their own 16-yard line. They begin right away with the fullback dive and get just a couple.
That's a much better job of canceling the dive inside. You want to stop all the vertical seams, which includes the dive.
So 2nd and 8 for Army. Andy Davidson. That was Bradshaw on the keeper, sorry. Fake me out.
Well, that's the intention. They want to do that. Bradshaw does some good work to get to a third and short yardage here. Obviously, the dive is the first choice in this situation.
So 3rd down and about 2 feet, it looks like, to keep the drive going for Army. Woolfolk is in at fullback. He'll have the ball, he'll have the first down. And then he is stacked up by Jared Combs, but again, Army very effective at driving forward with that fullback dive.
And they're using 31 personnel, 3 backs and a tight end. So they're really stretching out the front of North Texas. And then they're bouncing the dive from the A gap, which is next to the center, to the B gap, which is outside the guard. So he's going to just basically run to daylight inside.
North Texas looking to see if they can adjust up at halftime and find a way to stop that very effective inside running game that Army had in the first half. Bradshaw with the pitch this time, well pursued to the outside. And Tyler Campbell will get nothing. In fact, he'll lose one.
In fact, it was interesting. They had big splits on the right side of the line, which just usually means they're going to run inside. They faked him out. They're going to try to run to the outside, but great job. And he really pitched prior to getting to the pitch read, and that's what made it difficult on the B back, the A back on the pitch. He had nowhere to go. Too many North Texas bodies there. It's always, Mean Green showed up in a hurry.
It's always interesting for us. We get to sit down and meet with both teams' coaching staffs, and you hear one talk about what they're going to try to do to the other and what they expect the other to do. Then you go sit with the other group and you listen, and then it's fascinating to see what they try and how it works. Bradshaw faked the pitch, kept it, dug forward for a nice game before he was knocked down by Fred Scott. Good to see Scott, 32, back in the game.
And it's truly that chess match because these people have played each other. They've already gone through a game where they tried out their schemes. This worked, this didn't work, so now we're going to come with this. But what happens when they go to the next level? Yeah. They change that up a little bit. So you always have to be prepared for the what ifs.
That's the stuff that keeps the coaches pacing up and down the sideline, right?
Oh, that's the fun thing about it, though. The chess match, the battle of wits.
So 3rd and 3. Bradshaw will have it or more. He's got an escort as he heads toward the end zone. Touchdown, Army.
Bradshaw fast enough and tough enough. He does his best running inside the tackles. And when your eye discipline fails you or your gap integrity fails you, big plays can be the result.
So Army, on its 4 previous touchdowns, has failed to convert the point after try all 4 times. Will 5 be the charm? The kicker is Blake Wilson. He missed 1 kick. They ran a fake off a kick, and 2 others they went for 2 and missed it. They'll kick this one and get their first extra point of the game. Well, Seth Luttrell for North Texas told us that to win the game, they had to win the explosive play numbers and the turnover numbers. They're -1 on turnovers, and they're even on explosive plays after this 65-yard touchdown run by Army quarterback Ahmad Bradshaw. So Ahmad Bradshaw with his 8th rushing touchdown of the season. His 12th overall. And it brings Army's lead back up to 10. Remember that North Texas was inside the Army red zone on its last drive before it stalled out. This is James Gray who will field the short kick and get knocked down at about the 36-yard line. Chris?
Yeah, Jeffrey Wilson heading back out there after receiving an IV. You guys mentioned that he got sick in the first half. I asked the medical training staff if he was sick coming into the game, and they said no, it's really just a mixture of adrenaline plus too much pregame food. But he hopped up after that IV, went and gave a handshake to everyone in his offensive line. They've remained very positive even after that turnover.
He's certainly been a big factor for the Mean Green when they have had success on offense today, and to get him back in there and gutting it out is very interesting to see. 2.5 left in this third quarter. Here comes Jeffrey Wilson. Will stumble to the ground at the 40-yard line without being hit.
And you talked about on the 4th down play, he might have stumbled also. He might want to check those cleats, although this is a natural grass field. It looks like, you know, with a little cold weather, sometimes the grass doesn't grow quite as well.
2nd and 3 for the Mean Green. Wilson hit. Who else? 39, Jeremy Timpf, powering through a blocker, carrying the blocker with him to make contact with the runner.
Yeah, and I don't think Wilson read that very well. He got a kick-out block by the fullback. Watch this right here. I think he could have gone right up inside, hit that seam, but he comes over the top of the block. When the lineman is pushing him down, you got to cut behind that block.
So 3rd down and a long 3. Morris under pressure, slips. Just as he got to the sideline, he tried to set his feet to throw. He started to slip down, dumped the ball into the ground, and it brings up 4th down for North Texas.
And he really panicked a little bit too soon. He did not need to leave the pocket. He had good protection. He thought maybe he could make something happen by a run-pass option to the outside. The problem is that's not his forte.
It looked like they kept a lot of people in protection, kept all the running backs in, and so now the punter Eric Keener will come out. Remember last time he was on the field, they threw the fake and converted. This time, though, with the loss on the play, they need 8.
We've seen fakes. We've seen 2 stopped 4th down attempts, but nobody scored off of those opportunities.
Fumbled punt. North Texas ball inside the 20. Malik McHugh could not cleanly field the kick, and a big turnover, and Army's first turnover of the day.
That was a very low line drive kick, and I think in his mind he knew he's going to have a chance for a great return because of the lack of hang time. So as a result, he might have been thinking about where he was going to go. Hits him right in the chest and just falls down. He just doesn't corral it. The Mean Green coverage team is right down there on the ball. Huge turnover, and now a huge opportunity.
Yes. So they're even on explosive plays in the game, and now even on turnovers at 1 apiece. Those 2 things that Seth Luttrell told us would be the measure of this contest. So 1st down, North Texas from the Army 18-yard line. What do they do with it? Morris is going to go for it right away. The sudden change, touchdown! Tyler Wilson.
They didn't waste any time. They said, let's take advantage of that turnover. Let's take advantage of the field position. Let's throw it to our young gun, Tyler Wilson. And he is young, but he's very, very talented. And this was a perfectly thrown pass, too. Congratulations, Alec Moore.
So Trevor Moore on now to try and get it back to a 3-point game. And he does. The muffed punt, and North Texas quickly converts in a 1-play drive, going 18 yards for the touchdown.
They just flood the zone to the left. You see a little post route. Nicely thrown ball right over the top. Hits him right in stride. He's able to beat the defender. Wilson scampering into the end zone. Nice job, nice time.
Blake Wilson made a career-long 47-yarder against Morgan State for Army in his last kick attempt. So the distance won't be the problem. The point afters have been for the Black Knights. This is Elijah St. Hilaire, and Army's going to start from inside its own 10-yard line as he's dropped at about the 9 after forward progress. So Woolfolk in at fullback behind Ahmad Bradshaw. They spot the ball at the 9. Bradshaw on the follow. We'll have a couple.
We talked about North Texas needed something, a spark. Well, that turnover and the quick score certainly should help this defense know that they need to play with a more physical nature, play with a little edge out there, a little chip on their shoulder.
Woolfolk looking a little tender as he comes to the sideline. No hurry to send someone in as the Army players sprint down the field, as is their tradition, to get ready for the fourth quarter and be fourth quarter warriors. It's a 3-point game. Who's going to come out on top of this one? The Zaxby's Heart of Dallas Bowl will go to quarter number 4 with a scoreline of Army 31, North Texas 28. Ahmad Bradshaw with a 65-yard touchdown run to put the Black Knights on top, and then the strike back by North Texas. Had a great week of college bowl games leading up to the college football playoff semifinals, including this one today. The Zaxby's Heart of Dallas Bowl goes to the fourth quarter with a 3-point game between Army and North Texas, a game that Army led by 17 at one point. Second is the mental approach to the game. These are the best and brightest on the field, and he says by the time you get to the second half and the fourth quarter, they've seen what's coming and they've analyzed it for themselves, almost self-coached.
And that's true, and that's sort of an amazing thing. I don't think I've ever had a team like that. Plus, they do these fourth quarter drills, fourth quarter competitions every single day of practice. They find a way to end practice on a competitive drill and talking about the fourth quarter of every game.
Big third down here for Army. Need 2. Deep in their own territory. Bradshaw will pitch, looking for the edge. And Kel Walker will move forward and get the first down for the Black Knights.
They ran this pitch into the boundary, and a lot of times teams will play to the field with their defense. Here, a great job. The block on the outside is what did it. They got the speed to the edge, and then the agility of the Kel Walker being able to tightrope the sideline and get up the field.
Boundary the short side of the field, field the wide side of the field. Another way of saying it. So a first down now from the 17-yard line for Army. And once again, Darnell Woolfolk, that'll put him over 100 for the day. Nate Brooks brought him down, but the sophomore from Endwell, New York, who was tied for second on the team with 7 rushing touchdowns today, has been into the end zone twice now with the ball today and continues to be one of the rocks of this Army offense in this bowl game.
As we look forward in this game, there's 10 minutes left in the game. If Army is able to march this down, get some type of score, take 5 to 6 minutes off the clock, you're looking at very few possessions left in the game for North Texas. A stop here is very, very important.
Bradshaw with the pitch. And a nice gain by Kel Walker again. Bradshaw took a little bit of a beating after he got rid of the ball, but it's worth a first down for Army.
And once again, running into the short side of the field. They felt last time when they ran to the wide side of the field, the offside safety continued to make the tackle every play. They're trying now to cut off that backside safety and create the opportunity to still make yards on the pitch into the short side of the field.
Kel Walker, the freshman from Decatur, Georgia, who had a nice impact in that game against Navy with 16 carries for 94 yards. Making an impact in this bowl game for the Black Knights as well. Bradshaw with the keeper. Will have 4.5 or so on that one before Fred Scott knocks him down.
And Kel Walker is one of the fastest players on the field for Army. He might be the second fastest guy on the entire team, but he's a playmaker. And you're right, he just tends to find ways to get the ball in his hand and make a big play.
He'll come out now, and the sophomore from Cincinnati, Jordan Asbury, will go in on a 2nd down and 6. Samad Bradshaw, by the way, remember he had the 65-yard touchdown run earlier today, so he's up to 112 yards rushing, averaging 9.3 a carry because of that one that went for 65. Quick pitch coming around from the far side. That was Asbury, and he'll have enough to get the 1st down for Army and keep the clock running.
Vintage Army offense. Fake the dive, get the ball on the perimeter with blockers very, very quickly. But also when you look at statistically, the quarterback and the fullback are going to be the lead ball carriers in this offense every single year, just as they are today in this game. They have been the entire season.
Jeff Monken's 3rd season heading the Army football program. Former assistant under Paul Johnson at Georgia Southern, at Navy, at Georgia Tech, and went to be the head coach at Georgia Southern before taking over the program at West Point 3 years ago. Short gain on 1st down. Monken had an understanding of what it was going to take to succeed at Military Academy football. Watched some of the changes that Paul Johnson was able to command, if you will, at the Naval Academy. What serves a top-flight college football program best does not necessarily jibe with what serves the Military Academy and their mission. And so they've had to make some accommodations. Well, he came to Army and said, we need to do some of these things too if we want to succeed on the football field. They're doing them at Air Force also. Look at Woolfolk bounce off and backwards power his way out to about the down to about the 41-yard line.
I would assume, based on what they did last time, that this becomes 4-down territory. So this 3rd down call will not necessarily need to be for a 5-yard gain. Anything 3 to 4 yards, it sets up a manageable 4th down. I believe we'll see them go for it.
They need to get the ball down inside the 37, just about to the 36 of North Texas. Can the Mean Green make a stand? Bradshaw will keep. And he'll get the 1st down.
Bradshaw so elusive on this keep play. He just seems to have the ability to make people miss. You can see the dive there. And really, this is just a run for the quarterback. He does a great job there of slipping the would-be tackler and then continue to fall forward. They talked about the fact he does his best running inside the tackles.
That is the 5th 1st down on this drive for the Black Knights. Bradshaw coming all the way over to the sideline to talk with the offensive coaches before going back to the huddle. They'll take all the clock they can as they continue to march down toward the North Texas end zone. That was Davidson. And a reminder that when the game is over on ESPN3, you can see the post-game trophy ceremony presented by Capital One immediately following the game. There is the trophy as the 7 Zaxby's Heart of Dallas Bowl winds down to its final 4.5 minutes.
One of the things for North Texas, if they can hold them to only a field goal, they have a chance because they can score quickly. They proved that at the end of the 1st half. They don't need timeouts, but the reality is they've got to get a stop here and hopefully potentially a takeaway.
At the end of the 1st half, they marched down. They had a minute 50 and no timeouts left, marched down the field and scored, did North Texas. Bradshaw on the follow. They get it down to the 30-yard line, just inside the 30. And so now, another interesting moment here for Army with a 3rd and 5 and the clock continuing to run. When does Seth Luttrell start to use some timeouts?
Well, and the other thing is I wonder about a potential field goal. But field goal still only puts you up by 6. It does eliminate the potential to be tied with a field goal. So there's some decision-making going on. That analytics they talked about, they've already done this. They already know what they're going to do. We just don't know yet.
Look at Woolfolk fight his way for an extra yard. He was stuffed right at the line of scrimmage. He got 1, so it sets up 4th down.
And he was dragging 2 guys, but as we talked about, I think this decision was made already. It looks as if they're going to take some time off the clock and probably go for it. They may burn all the time and take a timeout. It looks as if that's what they're planning to do.
Keep talking about the analytics. Jeff Monken telling us that they've been using analytics this season, and it's a study based on their offense, their opponent's defense, and all these situations. So pretty much they know after first down what yardage situation they're going to be in to go for it on fourth. Offensive coordinator Brent Davis told us it's really liberating in a way. It allows you not to have to wonder. You can think ahead and be ahead on your calls and be prepared for these situations more than you might be if they need the 24. Bradshaw will pitch, but it's well pursued. Walker wrapped up. Joshua Wheeler made the first hit, and the ball goes over to North Texas on downs.
It's a great job by the North Texas defense. I think they really understood that tight formation meant that they wanted to go outside, and they pursued the ball very, very well, kept leverage on it, and kept gap integrity all the way to the sideline.
So timeout with 2:18 to go. North Texas getting the fourth down stop. Nicely pursuing the option to the near side, and they'll get a chance. They'll have the ball, but got a ways to go. 70 yards to get to the end zone. Army took 10.5 minutes off the clock, 68 yards and 18 plays down the field, but they turned it over to North Texas on downs. And so with all three timeouts and 2:18 on the clock, the Mean Green start at their own 30. And a first down strike from Alec Morris to Tyler Wilson will get them out across the 45 to the 46-yard line.
The real question about this North Texas team, they've lost 4 of 5 coming into this game. The coaches talked about how well they practiced in the bowl practices, the kind of energy and excitement they had about being here. It'll be tested right here in this drive.
Morris with plenty of time finds a receiver over the middle. That was Thaddeus Thompson. He will be across midfield down to the 47-yard line. The kicker for the Mean Green is Trevor Moore, the junior from Edmond, Oklahoma, who has hit a 51-yarder this season. Conference USA honorable mention selection. He's been warming up over behind the North Texas bench. Morris throws complete into the shadows. That's Wilson again, the freshman from Arlington.
And they've got plenty of time. They are working the sideline. That's a safe throw. They need to get to about the 33, 34-yard line for a field goal, which will tie it up. I'm sure they're not talking about field goals at this point. I think they're talking about touchdowns.
Remember at the end of the first half, they took over with 1:50 to go. No timeouts and marched all the way down the field to put it into the end zone. Morris lets it fly into double coverage and overthrows his intended receiver down the near side, Rico Bussey.
We've talked a lot about Alec Morris. He's been around a lot of big games. He's been in the Alabama program for 4 years. Hasn't played a lot of football, but he's looked very good today in terms of his poise. Can he take this team down right now and win this football game?
This is what he's waited 4 years for a chance to do, right? Get out there and be in charge and have a chance to win it on a last drive. Shovel pass forward into the hands of Wilson. Gets away from one, but not the second. And he is buried under a pile.
Wilson didn't see or feel the blocking up in front of him. So we look at this, a little shovel pass action. Had he turned to his left instead of to his right, he would have still been running. That's the thing when you have your back to the defense, you don't really know where to go. Army in a nickel group, it looks like they're really not going to pressure. They're going to drop and play coverage.
Got a receiver close to the marker. Depends on the spot. Turner Smiley right there. Where do they spot the ball?
I think they're
First down.
Ooh, okay. Nice timing. This throw just a little bit low, but once again, Alec Morris, a veteran quarterback, hasn't played a lot of football here.
They get the snap off. There'll be no review. Morris throws for the end zone and out of the end zone and incomplete. Well, they got that snap off before the replay booth. If they had any intention of it, could stop the game to review the spot. Let's see where he was.
He catches it at about the 28-yard line, so I think he had it on the catch. He got pushed back, but obviously knew where the sticks were on that play.
Good spot. Morris steps up. Throws complete to Tyler Wilson, and he's blasted out of bounds at the 27-yard line. That brings the field goal back into play, but it sets up a 3rd and long. Sorry, Coach.
No, nice job by Morris, buying some time and then throwing a strike there on the outside. Good completion, get out of bounds to stop the clock. But you're right, they still got 2 downs here.
So they need the 18-yard line to keep the drive going. 3rd down. Under pressure, Morris dumps it out. Here's Wilson. Shy of the 1st down line. Stopped at the 20, and it's 4th down.
The moment, the decisive moment in the game here. Do you go for it or just kick the field goal? Kick the field goal, ties it up.
North Texas.
All right.
We're going to talk about it.
30-second timeout.
So the Mean Green, rather, call the timeout. Seth Luttrell and company, and again, their field goal kicker Trevor Moore from, let's see, where's that ball going to be? 20, so 37 yards. Between 30 and 39 this year, he's 2 for 2. Moore, the junior from Edmond, Oklahoma. From the right hash mark as he looks at the goalposts. Eric Kina will hold, and Trey Enterline will snap.
You say watch the fake?
And it's good.
Based on Army's attack, I'd say we're going to overtime, but here's the snap. Hold is good, down, right through. Not too much doubt on that one. Pretty comfortable.
So Trevor Moore ties it up. 28 seconds to go. Army with 1 timeout left. And a kickoff still to come. That'll go into the end zone and through for a touchback. So Army will come out to the 25-yard line. Here in this one, Army led by as much as 17 in the 2nd quarter. North Texas with a late 2nd quarter rally. Got behind again in this 2nd half. They rallied to tie it up. And with a kneel down, we'll run the rest of the clock out, and we will go to overtime in the Zaxby's Heart of Texas Bowl. Army has played 1 overtime game this year. At Buffalo, they lost it 23-20. North Texas has played 1 overtime game this year. At Rice, they won it in double overtime, 42-35. Who wins this one? Overtime is next from Dallas. Little bonus football here in the Zaxby's Heart of Dallas Bowl. Army and North Texas tied at 31, going to overtime. And one of the things to keep in mind, on Army's first 4 scores of the day, they did not convert the point after.
Why are we here? They were 0 for 4, as you talked about in the first half on conversion. Missed the first one due to a bad hold. Then tried to go for 2 twice. Weren't able to get it. Good job by North Texas, and then tried to fake off of the potential kick formation. Didn't get that either. So that's 4 potential points that would add. We wouldn't be there at this time, but now we are. Overtime about to happen.
So the Army offense comes onto the field at the 25. They start on the left hash. Ahmad Bradshaw, the quarterback, has only thrown the ball twice today, 1 of 2 for 38 yards. He's rushed 15 times for 122. They come this way with a halfback option pass, downfield and short. Tried to get Kel Walker to throw it, a little trickeration, but he was slipping and falling and getting hit as he threw it, and that fell to the ground.
They had a lot of success with this counter play in the previous game against North Texas. They talked about a potential fake off of it, just couldn't quite get the ball the way he wanted it. Now they're faced with a little bit of long yardage situation.
You got nothing on first down, so you're behind schedule, though the receiver was open if he could have planted the foot and made that throw. 2nd and 10. Looking for a seam, nicely pursued down the line. That's TJ Tawaralo, the redshirt sophomore from Keller, Texas, who makes the hit.
North Texas pretty excited right now. 2 huge plays for them in terms of negative plays, 3rd and 8. And obviously you can choose to kick a field goal here, but Army struggled a little bit with the kicking game, so we'll see.
So whether they're in 4-down territory or not, in this case, might not depend as much on the analytics as what they get on this 3rd down. Bradshaw to throw. Got a receiver. It's Poe. Inside the 10, knocked out of bounds at the 8. Edgar Poe, the senior from Tucson, with his first catch of the day.
Nice job, play action, crossing route. You can see the fake going out to the left. The tight end crosses back underneath the grain. Good job by Poe finding his way across, making a key catch, and really nice throw by Bradshaw under pressure.
Remember in that Navy game, Poe hadn't caught a ball all day. He only caught one, but it was the 29-yarder that started their game-winning drive. So here, a big 1st down conversion in overtime for Poe. And now they hand it off to Woolfolk, who gets nothing up the center of that North Texas defense.
They're doing a good job right now of stopping the dive. They got to make sure they maintain eye discipline in the back end to not be caught with a fake and a play action pass.
So it's 2nd down and goal from the 8. No gain on the play. At periods in this game, that fullback dive has just eaten up big chunks of yardage. Woolfolk over 100 yards, 118 on his 22 carries on the day. Now it's Andy Davidson. Excuse me, that's still Woolfolk in there. Bradshaw tried to get the seam, finds a hole inside the 5, the 3, and it'll be 3rd down and goal from the 3-yard line.
Once again, I'm trying to get inside the mind of the coach, but I think this is 2-down territory. I don't think they're going to kick a field goal. I think they believe in what they do and that they can get into that end zone with 2 shots at it. Bradshaw breaking tackles. We've talked about his strength is running inside the tackles, and for a quarterback, he's almost like a running back in the game.
Bradshaw tries to follow, doesn't get much. Well played from the far side. That was Joshua Wheeler, 18 for North Texas, that came in and pursued.
Wheeler, their normal jack linebacker, coming off the edge, ran that play down from the backside.
So Army doesn't have a timeout. They used it already in overtime, so they have to get this play off, make their decision, and if they're going to kick it, get the field goal unit on the field. Looks like they're going to go for it. They bring Davidson in. They bring Asbury in.
10 seconds.
And it's 4th down and goal. The quick pitch. And into the end zone is Jordan Asbury for the Army touchdown.
Now that was clutch. You're going against the clock. You're going against the defense. You're on 4th down, and you make the play. Congratulations to Army in terms of that, the execution of it, the call itself. But take a look here. There's a counter fake to the dive guy, and there's just a toss outside. Great blocking. North Texas wasn't able to rally to get people around the football.
Tyler Campbell with a good seal block on the end. So here is Blake Wilson for a point after try. That's good. So now the pressure swings over to the Mean Green side of the ball. Can their offense get it into the end zone and keep this game extended?
And obviously they need a touchdown and an extra point. So it does make your play calling a little bit easier because you can't settle. The field goal doesn't even come into consideration.
There is Jeffrey Wilson, who has been the star of the day for the North Texas offense. 19 times he's carried it, 84 yards. Literally vomited on the field, took an IV on the sideline. But he's been the one that's made the magic plays happen when they've needed him. Alec Morris will keep it, pull it down, and get about 4 before he is brought down by Andrew King, 11 for Army.
Wilson's also caught 6 passes today, so don't forget about that. But here we go. They're looking for a big shot here. They're trying to throw the ball down the field, see if they can get the guy open. Great coverage right there. The linebacker dropped into the coverage. Tim got underneath that route and forced Morris to scramble, which he got a positive gain. Got 4 yards on that.
Here is Wilson. Pursued and dropped for a loss by Jeremy Timpf, 39, one of the Army co-captains.
That play worked early in this football game, the outside zone against Army. Army's players, we've talked about the fact that they believe they can learn by the second half what is happening, read plays, that type of thing. Tremendous pursuit, did a great job. Remember, North Texas has to score a touchdown.
So with the loss, it's 3rd down and 9. Army bringing pressure. The ball dumped off underneath. It's incomplete in the direction of Thompson, and it's 4th down. Seth Luttrell had walked before that play all the way down to the line of scrimmage to watch that play as he paces back toward midfield.
Some pressure on that. It'll be interesting to see if Army decides to continue bringing pressure or play coverage. 4th and 9. They've got to get a 1st down here. No problem about that. They've got a lot of room. They can do double move route if they want to go for it all right here.
Does the game continue, or does Army win?
Showing pressure. Dropping out.
Morris under heat. Fires it up into the air. Knocked down. Army wins. Black Knights celebrate with a win here in Dallas today, their 8th win of the season, the most since 1996. They fought hard after getting out to a big lead and watching North Texas come back. But got the ball into the end zone on that 4th and goal in the overtime, and then the defense managed to shut down the Mean Green. Final score in overtime, Army 38, North Texas 31. Thanks to our crew for a great season. Let's head up to Annapolis for Wake Forest and Temple in the Military Bowl presented by Northrop Grumman.